welcome. We're going to talk all about cheese, which is my favorite topic, with Laura Downey and Chris Palumbo of Cheesemonger Box. Now, if you don't know what a cheesemonger is, that's somebody that sells cheese, right?
Exactly.
Simple as that. All right, tell me your story. How did you guys end up together and then opening up 2 cheese shops to going to Cheesemonger Box, which we'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah. Well, my background, I was in catering and kind of grew up in a family of like Italian who love food. And
food is love.
Yeah, exactly. And I always say that in our store. You know, if we take care of people with food. So
Absolutely.
Cheese is kind of our medium, but it's more about taking care of the people.
All right, so you're catering. How do you meet Laura?
So Laura worked at a retail store in Fairfield, and I used to do catering for the woman who ran the retail store, and she was the manager. And that store went out of business, and kind of one thing led to another, and we got together and put the shop together.
So the first one went to Fairfield.
Fairfield,
Yeah.
yep.
How do you set up a cheese shop? How do you do that?
You know?
It was tough because the first one we didn't know anything. You know,
Sure.
I knew a little bit about cheese. Laura had done some more research and some more work with cheese.
I think for me, my retail background really helped. You know, I knew the business side of retail, not so much specialty food or cheese, but passion for good food and cheese kind of made that easy.
So who said to who, let's open up a shop because we know this stuff, and you did that in 2009.
2009.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was working for the woman that owned the shop that was in that location.
Yeah.
And she did party planning. We sold a little bit of cheese on the weekends in that shop, and I kind of knew that that was the hit of her business model. It wasn't even an original part of her business model, but it was clearly the thing that was bringing the people in. So when she decided to close her party planning shop and business, I put pen to paper and wrote a business plan and needed a financial partner, and Chris was interested in doing that with me, and the rest is sort of
catering
history.
at that time, you know, it was like right after the banking crash.
Sure, 2008, 2009.
So people weren't throwing a bunch of big parties at that time, but they could like buy a piece of cheese and get a bottle of wine and still have a nice night out.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Right, come in and spend $25 and not $150 on going out for
and
dinner.
have a nice night, right?
Or a big
so
party,
in 2009 you did that. That was so successful, you opened up one in Greenwich in 2014.
Because one wasn't enough.
So now you're really crazy. Now you're running 2 cheese shops.
We are,
right?
yeah. So Coscob, we're in the Coscob neighborhood down in Greenwich. Been there, it'll be 4 years in December.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We opened right before Christmas in 2014, which was...
Was it the 15th or?
Look, he's forgotten already.
He's forgotten. It was actually the 11th.
December 11th.
December 11th.
And what kind of cheeses did you go after? Artesian cheeses, right?
So yeah, our focus is small batch handmade, and that's kind of what we seek out for pretty much all the products in the store. Like we really want to support the small producers, the farms.
So
the
local
small
farms.
Exactly.
Yeah, local farms, and even, I mean, our case is probably half European cheeses and half American artisan cheeses. But even our European cheeses are really about the smaller, traditional producers. Because, you know, in France and Italy and Spain, there are quite large factories that make cheese, and they send a lot of that imported factory cheese to America. You know, it tends to be less expensive. It's not as interesting, but there are artisanal Manchego producers and Gruyere that's made up on an Alp in the summer.
So each cheese has a story.
Definitely.
How did you find all these small batch cheese companies in Europe? Did you go there and find them?
Yeah.
So some we found through like industry contacts, and then also some that we worked with some great importers that seek out that specialty. So it's not just like any old importer that's bringing in cheese. We work with Essex Cheese, which brings in a great authentic Manchego, an authentic Parmigiano Reggiano.
Columbia cheese that sources a really smaller production Gruyere, for example.
It's making me hungry as we're looking at the cheese. What's your #1 seller? And does it vary between the 2 stores?
You know, our #1 seller is always what the cheesemonger behind the counter is loving at that moment.
Right.
Like a bottle of wine, I love.
Sure. And if they're happy, if they're excited about a certain cheese, then they're willing to sell it. And
I love it when you go into a small cheese shop and they cut it for you and then they wrap it up, and it's like a little present.
So
right?
it's funny.
It is.
I talked to a French cheese shop owner, and they say that in France, you have to make sure the paper's wrapped very particularly and you want it looking nice. But the reason for that is because when the wife takes the cheese home, that she can show the value to her husband that this is
back in the
actually
day. Oh, see?
special cheese that I paid for.
That
at
it
a
wasn't
cheese
just
shop,
from a supermarket.
store.
That it
How
came.
funny.
That it was the finest available.
Look at the cheese. All right, so you have 2 cheese shops, and then somebody gets the idea. Oh, I know. Let's put cheese in a box and crackers and open up a new company called Cheesemonger Box.
That's this one over here.
Crazy person.
And so tell me, this is in 2017, so you're not that old with Cheesemonger Box. What's in the box?
So it's a subscription-based box. You can buy it as a subscription, which means you sign up, you pay. It comes once a month, and you can either get your 2 choices. You can get 3 different cheeses by themselves, or the 3 cheeses with 2 accompaniments, and this is what we call the signature box, which is the 3 cheeses with the 2 accompaniments.
And does it change all the time? Do you order exactly what you want, or it's whatever you have?
So
Yeah, we're curating the box, so each month the 3 cheeses change.
and
so
it kind of has a theme to it too. So like this past month, we were working on American Cheese Month.
Yeah, American Cheese Month. So we did,
So-
so our October box that is shipping this week was 3 American artisan cheeses. You know, at Christmas we might
do
put
stuff
in
for
like an
Christmas.
English Stilton. You
Right.
know, so we kind of do, for Raw Milk Cheese Appreciation Day, which was last April, we did an all raw milk cheese box.
So it really is a present. Is that a maze at the top of what is that?
That is a maze. You know, we wanted to have some fun with it too. So it's on the top here. It says, I don't know if you can see it, but it says "Heck Yes Cheese."
And there's a little mouse.
Yeah,
A little
There's
mouse.
and that's
on the top
our
of it.
logo.
There you go.
Yeah.
See the
Yeah,
mouse.
our branding is really,
We used.
I love it. We hired actually a local New Haven agency.
Love that. Local.
Yeah,
Box A
Box A Creative came up with the branding for us. And
So how's it going? How many subscribers do you have so far since 2017?
Yeah. So for the full year, we sell 500 boxes this past year.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So for us, that's a good start.
Yeah.
And we're looking to grow it. You know. Hopefully
How big
grow
a
it
staff do you need to do with this and 2 cheese shops? How many people are you employing?
well, right now between the 2 shops, I think we have about 12 employees.
That's
Right.
terrific.
Plus ourselves. too,
plus
'cause
ourselves,
We're
yeah.
in the shop every day.
And
We're
you're
in the
working
shop.
for free, of course. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah, we're behind the counter. I
Right.
mean, most Fridays and Saturdays we're slinging cheese with the Cheesemongers. So we are behind the counter quite a bit. The cheese box, we are currently the 2 employees of Cheesemonger Box. We do sometimes get some of the other
we use our staff
cheesemongers to help us when we need it to pack boxes and cut cheese for us and
So
stuff.
are you going to expand beyond this, or you don't know?
No, the plan is to grow it big, and I mean our goal is to get handmade artisan cheese into as many people's mouths as possible.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest reason for it is to support these farms. I mean they really put a lot of
Farming's everything.
They put
I don't
so
know
much
how we got so far
care
away
and
from that.
energy
Yep.
into what they produce. They
Right.
care about the animals. They care about the land. They care about what they're producing.
Right.
And for us, we feel if we can support them and get them out there as much as we can, we're kind of the go-between. So we're the
Right.
go-between between the farm.
I mean, over the last 10 years, we've developed really strong relationships with a lot of these producers. I mean, the 3 producers on this board right now, we know them all. We've had
And they have a
drinks with
story.
them.
Yeah,
They
of
have a
course.
story. These are small family farms. And, I always say, if we don't choose cheese that comes from these kind of producers, they won't be able it won't
They won't be
exist.
around, yeah.
And pretty much then our only choice as consumers is going to be to eat whatever the grocery store gives
Tells
us.
you you're going
Right,
to.
exactly.
And it's just not the same flavor. It's not the same farming system. So for us, it's really important. And we feel like the box. There's not a great cheese shop in every neighborhood in America. Smaller independent cheese shops. There are not a lot of us across the country. So the goal of the box would be to, you know, send it out to places where there are,
where you can
to
enjoy
find.
it.
I think that's where we're looking for
And
our
we've been shipping
customers all over.
nationally.
All over so that
Yeah.
they're finding you on your website. How do they find you?
Yeah, our website and social media, Facebook,
Okay.
Instagram. We have a pretty good presence there.
What's the cost, and do you have to sign up for a year? How does that work?
So yeah, so $75 for the straight 3 cheeses.
Yeah.
And $95 for the 3 cheeses and the 2 accompaniments. And you can order as a subscription or just as a gift if you want to gift it to somebody. And then we also we added another thing because we weren't doing enough already, but we added another box that just choose your own. So we picked about 10 different cheeses, 10 or 12 cheeses, a couple different accompaniments, and you can build your own box.
Oh, that's
so if you
awesome.
only want like Gruyere, or if you don't like blue cheese, or you know, whatever your choice is.
So the cost of the box, if you went into one of your cheese shops, it is comparable to getting those 3 cheeses? Because someone might say, my gosh, $75 for cheese.
The 75 and the 95 include shipping, and that is shipping anywhere in the continental U.S.
Oh, okay.
And honestly, shipping is the biggest cost.
It is. It's so expensive.
It's
And
cheese,
it has
it
to
has
be
to get
shipped
there.
perishably, so it has to go in 2 to 3 days.
It can't take 5 days.
Right.
So if it's going to California, the shipping,
gotta get there.
The shipping is a huge chunk of that.
Right.
So it is sort of built into the price.
Right, and the packaging, and also we do educational materials.
Oh.
So they're like little cards. Here.
Did you forget?
You
the
just
card?
happened to have one. Yes. The
So,
cards are
so
great.
this is what you get with the box. You'll get a welcome.
Okay.
And then you'll get, on each individual cheese, you'll get a card that tells you where it comes from, what to pair it with.
Yeah. Which wine to
so
drink.
It's an educational
Yeah,
one.
because I think education and to learn about these farms is important. So yeah, you get the 3 cards, and then all our packaging is biodegradable. We use corn-based styrofoam.
It all dissolves. You can actually compost it, which is really cool.
Oh my gosh, you've thought of everything.
We did, because I've ordered boxes, the meal kits and stuff, and the amount of packaging is like, it's fine like the first week, and then the second week you're like, your garage is filling up and you feel a little guilty. So we wanted to make sure that everything we were putting out there was environmentally friendly. So yeah, so again, a lot of the cost too is in our packaging. That corn-based styrofoam is not inexpensive.
Yeah, no, that's not. All right, I want to taste some of these cheeses. Tell me what these are. And there's all different kinds of cheeses.
Yeah.
So what is this?
So this is probably one of my favorite cheeses, actually. This is called Pleasant Ridge Reserve.
And it's from?
It's from Uplands Cheese Company in Wisconsin. So they are, isn't it amazing? It's kind of, it's in that sort of Alpine Gruyere family. So it's going to have similar sort of nutty tones.
This is a fun part.
Right? The best part is eating it. So one of the really neat things about Uplands Cheese Company is Andy Hatch, the cheesemaker, and his partner. They only make cheese when their cows are pastured. So they only make this cheese in the summer when they're out grazing. They joke they're grass farmers because pasture is everything to the health of a cow. So they have a small herd, less than 100 animals.
Oh my gosh.
It is made with raw milk, so it's aged 60 days. Well, this is aged more than 60 days, but our laws in this country, it has to be 60 days or older
to be made with
raw milk.
I love the stories behind it. Now, what do we have here?
Another one of my favorites.
Be still my heart.
They're all my favorites. Who am I kidding?
Like your children, right?
Like my children. Yeah, I love them all.
This is really good.
Yeah, it's pretty special. So that is from Meadow Creek Dairy down in Virginia. So they're in Galax, Virginia, in the Appalachia Mountains.
Oh my gosh.
They also only make cheese when their cows are pastured. It's so rich. They have Jersey cows.
This is like dessert, I'm telling you.
It is. And Jersey cows have really high fat content to their milk, so that's why it's so rich. And the color, too, that's the telltale sign that it's grass-fed. It's called Grayson. I didn't say the name, but it's called Grayson, Meadow Creek Dairy Grayson.
Now, this is really creamy.
Yeah.
So
is that a goat cheese?
Goat cheese, yeah.
See?
Yep.
All right.
You want to tell them about that?
Sophia is from a farm called Capriol Farm, and they're in Indiana. And they make the best goat cheeses. They're like so creamy, and the texture's fantastic, like that little wrinkly rind. And yeah, it's one of my favorites.
A little ash
with
ripening.
that cracker.
Yes, I can taste that.
Yeah.
Well, what's the strangest cheese you've come across in doing your research?
No, there's some strange ones.
Yeah.
A lot of the really strange
Stinking
ones.
Bishop is kind of strange.
What's it called?
Stinking Bishop.
Is it a blue or?
No, it's a washed rind with cheese, and it's stinky. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Also, I would say I have never tried it. I saw it in Italy once. There is a cheese from Sardinia that has bugs in it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably a delicacy.
It
Who
is a
knows?
delicacy.
Really?
It's called Kazu Marzu or something like that. Definitely not
You
available
probably
in the
will
US.
not be carrying that.
No.
I'm just guessing.
No, I don't
the
think
FDA would like
America
that.
or the FDA is ready for that.
What's the best thing about what you've set out to do here and looking at what you've done? 2 cheese shops and now the Cheesemonger Box.
I mean, I think for me, the best thing is the people whose lives we touch. We get to be at their parties, their weddings, their funerals. We get to be at, you know, all different kinds of events with people.
Yeah.
And also the staff. I mean, we've got some great staff and really people who are passionate about what we do and really support us in the community. So.
And you have to say what you like best.
I mean, I would definitely ditto that, getting really good cheese into people's mouths. You know, I feel like it's a little bit of a mission. You know, Americans are learning more about food. You know, over the last 25, 30 years, we've traveled more, we're more interested, we care more, I think, about where our food's coming from. And I think getting good cheese into people's mouths really makes me happy.
Well, I know it just made me happy. Chris and Laura, I wish you luck, and I hope it just goes gangbusters. And thanks for helping the little guy who's making the little batches of this, because I think it's really important.
Yeah, I just also wanted to mention it's American Cheese Month, October.
And as I told you, it's American Cheese Month every month in my house.
Yes, every day, every month.
Thank you both for being here.
Thank you. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Spend all night kissing and the bumps right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked if I'm so wishing to find the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Need to keep locked in the grocery store of my mind, just to save time. Skip right ahead to the nice ride.